Now let's continue respiration or cellular respiration. Now we are going to talk about the second type of cellular respiration. We talk about the first type, which is aerobic respiration, and we said it happened in the presence of oxygen on three stages. It mainly happen inside the mitochondria. The first step is glycolysis, Krebs cycle, then electron transport chain, and we get 38 ATP molecules. But what for the anaerobic respiration, or what's called sometimes fermentation? It is a process by which living organisms obtain energy from food molecule glucose in absence or in lack of oxygen by the help of special enzyme producing very small ratio of ATP molecules or quantity of energy, only 2 ATP molecules. So the glucose molecule, when glycolysis happens, it gives pyruvic acid. If there is oxygen, it will enter the mitochondria and continue for oxidative phosphorylation. If there is no oxygen, it will go for anaerobic respiration. Anaerobic respiration, the same beginning, but we have two types: acidic fermentation and alcoholic. The glucose molecule will decompose into pyruvic acid and gives 2 ATP molecules like this. Then fermentation happens. How this happens? Pyruvic acid is converted according to the type in which the cell it was formed in. In animal cells, acidic fermentation, as in the animal muscular cells and bacterial cells, what happens inside the muscle cells if there is no oxygen? In the muscle fiber, when the muscle exerts vigorous effort or a lot of exercise, they consume most of the oxygen in the cell to convert or reduce pyruvic acid into lactic acid, which is a 3-carbon compound. And this combination with electron carried on the NADH, causing what is known as muscular fatigue. If the oxygen available again, lactic acid converted or oxidized to pyruvic acid again, then into acetyl-CoA and complete the normal passage of the aerobic respiration. In case of bacteria, the pyruvic acid is converted into lactic acid in absence of oxygen, and many dairy industry depend on this type of fermentation, like making of yogurt, making of cheese, butter, and this. Now we are going to see the second type, which is alcoholic fermentation. Alcoholic fermentation as in yeast and some plant cells. Pyruvic acid is reduced to ethyl alcohol and carbon dioxide, and this used in some industry in production of alcohol, bread, and we have glucose molecule changed to ethanol, and this change give me 2 ATP molecules. So here, if we look at the type of fermentation, for lactic acid we give cheese, and for here we have ethanol and اللي هي alcoholic fermentation. Seeds of angiosperms, they have the power to respire anaerobically if they are kept in anaerobic conditions. Now we are going back to see the second part, which is respiration in human and how gas exchange happen. How inside the human, how the human respiration in man. Human body contains a special system responsible for the extraction of oxygen from the atmosphere and transfer it to the blood is called respiratory system. The respiratory system have many organs. It's stored by the air entrance. It may enter through the nose or the mouth, but it is preferable to enter through the nose, as the nose has some mucus and hair which act as filter. It secretes mucus to moist the air, and it lined with blood capillaries which warm the passage. For the hygienic point of view, it is preferable to enter the air from the nose, not the mouth. The second pass is the pharynx. Pharynx is the air passes through it. It's considered common passage for both air and food, where the air then goes from it through the larynx to the trachea, and it is known, the larynx known also as voice box. The trachea, air enters the trachea, which is its wall consists of 3/4 cartilaginous rings to prevent the trachea from collapsing and maintaining always the opening passage of air opened. The inner surface of this of the trachea is lined with cilia, which beat upwards, tending to create air and mucus current to filter any substance or embedding or preventing from entry of any foreign bodies moving from the pharynx. It may swallow it by a mistake. It divides at the lower part into two branches or two bronchi, and which are subdivided progressively to smaller bronchioles, and each bronchiole finally opens to each of them. So at the alveoli. So here we have the trachea, two bronchi. Bronchi is divided smaller to bronchioles until finally we have the alveoli. The alveoli has special characters, function to suitable its air function. They are large in number, may reach about 600 million alveoli per lung to increase the surface area of respiration. Their walls are considered actual respiratory surface. They are very thin, so they increase the exchange of gases between them, surrounded by network of blood capillaries, so they can receive and connect the carbon dioxide. They are moistened by water vapor, which is necessary to dissolve carbon dioxide and oxygen and complete exchange between the alveolar and surrounding part. So the alveoli is the main part. So what is the, if we here look, we have inhalation, so the air come inside the lungs and become enlarged, and exhalation, the air goes out of the lung. The respiratory system has an important role in the excretion process. Why? Because the respiratory system excretes carbon dioxide, so it gets out and carbon dioxide, and also it excrete some of the water with exhalation process in form of water vapor, where the man lose daily about 500 centimeter cube of water through the two lungs out of 2500 centimeter cube that he loses daily of water from all his body. This loss is due to the evaporation of water that moisten the alveoli membrane. Or why we said we moisten the alveoli membrane to dissolve the carbon dioxide and oxygen, so they complete the exchange process in an easy way. So again we can see how the respiratory system is starting with the entrance of air from the nose or from the mouth. Then it passes from the nose, we said more preferable due to the presence of moist mucus to moist the air, or it is filtered by the mucus and hair which is found as sieves, and it is warmed by the blood capillaries, then passes through the pharynx, the common pass between the digestive system and respiratory system, then through the trachea, where the trachea is lined with cilia, or cilia can push any foreign particle. Then the trachea is the air branches into the two lungs to two bronchi. Each bronchi branches for smaller bronchioles and ends with alveoli. The alveoli is the functional unit for the respiratory system. It's the main part where they have thin wall to exchange gases surrounded by blood capillaries to exchange the carbon dioxide and oxygen, and they are mostly by water vapor. By this part, we finished the gases exchange, and we know the difference between gases exchange and cellular respiration, and how each of these processes happen inside the human body. By this part, we finished respiration in human. We are going to continue respiration in plant next time. Thank you.